What is up, guys? I know it's been a crazy long time since my last episode, but because of that, there are a lot of things to talk about in this episode. I'm just going to throw everything into one episode instead of dividing it up based on different milestones and different types of events, whatever. Just going to throw it all in one big master episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Starting off, just doing a standard Dungeoneering daily challenge. I got Gordy. I got the Dungeoneering pet. Which actually puts me in a really weird situation. Like, I'm very happy to have the pet, but I feel like there's two scenarios where having a pet is really cool. If you have a super low XP in the pet, so it's like showing off really cool RNG, or if you get it really late and so you can show off high XP. And I'm kind of in a really bad spot in that I was like sub 50 mil XP, which is really nothing special at all for Dungeoneering. So like, I felt like I didn't deserve it, didn't really earn it, but I mean, that's okay. That's going to be 200 mil eventually anyway, so super happy to get that. A while after that, I don't know how many days, I was hanging out at a friend's Max party. Congratulations to him, by the way. He was probably the fourth person I've probably bullied into finally maxing when they were close, so very happy for him. And we just started walking to Varrock, which really pissed me off because I just I wanted him to just get it there in Burthorpe and, you know, turn in his challenge, etc. But that didn't happen, so I decided that I was just going to wait, and I kind of put up with it. And on my way there, I asked him to take a detour north, and I used my lamp, and I got 120 prayer, and I can't even tell you guys how stoked I am about it, because that is definitely my favorite cape across the game. Completionist looks great. You know, max cape is cool, but as far as 120s go, 120 prayer is so nice, and I'm so happy to have it. And it's a shame I couldn't have gotten it on my last account, but that just gives me one more reason why this account is better, and I am so happy about it. I've also been AFKing fishing a lot, if you guys didn't know that, and I also got the fishing pet. I got Bubbles, which is pretty cool. It's nice to have the pet. I think it looks actually pretty nice. Kind of downside about this one is that it's a very common skilling pet. I think it might be the most common. I'm not entirely certain on that. So it's not really unique, but it's still cool to have, and it's something that I'm very glad I got before I hit 120. I do intend on getting 120 fishing. I don't really have an ETA or a goal on that. It's just, you know, whenever I really need to AFK, that's what I go to. That's what I'm doing as I record this right now. And so I will get that eventually, and I'm looking forward to that, but again, I'm not really pushing hard for it. After that, though, I was on a crazy quest grind, and the reason for this is that this was when the Garahan Dungeoneering pieces came out. The basically the master skilling set for Dungeoneering came out, and I didn't want one of the low tier sets. I thought I wanted it at first when it was talked about in the behind the scenes, but on release, it really didn't have anything too special that would have made it worth really getting. Whereas the complete set, the warped set, had some really awesome stuff, including a puzzle skip once per floor, which is really good. It basically gives you an extra lock melter. And this is per person, so if you have 5 people with this, that's 5 shitty puzzles you get to skip. Granted, it only works on some puzzles, but it's really cool. There's also a 7% extra XP at completing a floor, 7% DPS increase, which is really cool. You can walk on ice, which is really not that special, but it's still nice for that one sliding puzzle and for the weird boss. I forgot the name, but it's got a bunch of cool, nifty little benefits like that, as well as a, I think it's a +3, or +2 or +3 visible bonus across all skills. So not only does that help with things like DPS if you don't overload, but it helps with opening any sort of door, doing any sort of thing like that that you normally couldn't use a portent for. Maybe you wouldn't have to make a potion for, and it stacks with your Juju Dungeoneering potion because that's an invisible bonus. So it's just crazy overpowered, and I banged out like 17 plus quests. I don't even remember specifically, but I mean, literally none of these quests are actually important because I had done all of the important quests prior to this, just because they were important. So these were really just things that were comprex. I would have needed to do them eventually anyway, going for Quest Point Cape. And they helped me a lot in getting these pieces. I wound up spending almost 300 mil in bonds to get the last several pieces. It was actually pretty rough. But, you know, that's the price you pay. And as of somewhat recently, I don't have a clip for this, but I did get my rank in Kier's Friends chat. So I am going to be selling floors when I can actually be bothered to not AFK. So that was another big reason I was willing to invest the money, was because it would just make that so much easier. And, you know, it would pay for itself. And it's just one of those benefits that I thought was so nice that I was willing to spend the money. You'll also see mixed in here, I got a crest of Zamorak. I decided to trio Twin Furies with a couple good friends just on a whim. It was one night we were just kind of dicking around. We decided to go for it, and I got my first Twin Furies drop that I've ever been a part of. That was a decent drop, like a unique drop that wasn't Dormant Anima Core. So that was actually really fun. I don't even remember what my kill count was, but it was not anything super high or super special. It's not like I was on a crazy dry streak, but you know, I was probably well over 200 and I hadn't gotten anything, so it was pretty cool to get that. Again, though, after finishing all those quests and blowing crazy money on all of the bonds, I did finally finish that warped set. It was an awesome moment, and you'll see I have a crazy amount of bonus XP from buying all of those bonds. That's almost 2.9 million Slayer XP, which is fucking crazy. I think I had well over 5 million total bonus Slayer XP, or total XP that is bonus XP, just kind of laying around spread across many skills. And it's insane that I'm going to have to burn through all of that, and a lot of it is in skills that I'm probably just not going to be training actively, so it's going to be on there for a long time. While after that, though, I did finally go back. I did Nomad's Elegy, which was the last quest I had to do. Finally have all quests done. Feels good, you know, until later this month when another quest comes out. But it feels good to burn through all of those, I don't want to say garbage quests, because, you know, they aren't necessarily garbage, but they don't have good rewards. They're not super worth the time other than getting all quests done. So it feels good to have gotten that out of the way, I guess you would say. It turns out you don't actually get the quest point cape broadcast until you actually buy the cape. So I don't have a clip for that. I didn't decide to buy it until like a day or two later, and I just didn't record it, couldn't be bothered. But it's still really cool to get this done. After that, though, probably what I am most excited about, I think maybe even more than my 120 prayer, is that I had finally saved up the money I needed for my Third Age keepsakes. You guys have been seeing that in front of every episode in my intro, talking about getting, you know, party hat, maybe Third Age keepsakes, and I've finally got one of those down. It's going to be ages until I get the party hat, but it feels so good to have blown, what is it, 954 mil or something on my Third Age. Keepsaked it, and finally looking dice again. Feels so fucking good, man. Now I will let you guys in on that. I did wind up unkeepsaking and selling my Third Age just because they shot up, but I could tell that it was just kind of like a pump and dump sort of thing where someone buys out items, they rise, people sell them off, and they drop again. So I wound up selling about 140 mil higher than you can see where I bought here, and I rebought it after it had dropped another 108 mil. So some decent profit there, and I'm happy with that, and I used that money to buy more keepsake keys, and again, I did re-keepsake the Third Age, so it's not like I was without it for more than a few days. Those were very sad days, but, you know, I feel like the profit was worth it. Anyway, finally have the Third Age, and I am so stoked about it. And the cool thing about having Third Age is that now I don't really have monetary goals. I can put my money toward whatever. I don't care about needing to save up for anything, you know, unless it's that eventual party hat. And that, again, is so far away that I'm not even thinking about it, really. So I'm buying Mass Capability Codexes. I finally got Corruption Shot. Really stoked about that because that's really good for Dungeoneering. I've been doing Beastmaster every other day with my clan, so I finally had enough techie to buy Onslaught. Was happy about that, too. I don't really use Onslaught that much. It's useful for some dungeoneering bosses, and I guess it's useful for some actual PVM, but not a lot of the things I do. It's just one of those things that I thought would be nice to have, not to mention I really don't have any need for the tier 90 tank armor. It's just not something that I feel like I would use. I have been actively doing ports. I hope to get ports armor for tank gear, should I need something defensive, but I'm not doing anything crazy enough to where tier 90 tank armor would really be that useful. And I also bought another codex, and I was able to get Corruption Blast for magic. So now I've got pretty much everything covered. I don't have Shatterstorm yet, just because that's, as far as I understand, useful at only a few places, and those aren't really things that I do. So, it's so good to finally have these things. These are abilities that I had never bought on PandaForce, despite having like 5 or 5.5 bill at my peak, just because I never PVM'd enough for them to be useful. And I also had the perspective that like I would rather have my money to invest in things than to spend it on something. So finally having these is actually a really cool milestone for me on a personal level in that I don't have that mindset anymore. I'm finally spending money and investing it into actual things that will help me in the long term instead of just merchanting investments. That being said, though, guys, that is it for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed all of the crazy progress, between 120 prayer, Quest Point Cape, 2 pets, Third Age, and 3 ability codexes. We have done some crazy awesome stuff, full warped Garahan, just crazy awesome stuff. I am so stoked about what these past couple months have brought us, and I am just looking forward to everything that comes, all of the 120s I'm working for. Maybe I get more pets. Oh, it's just going to be awesome, and I hope you guys stick around. For now, though, stay happy, and we'll pray for more progress.
For